And John is with us now from Washington. So, John, it did not sound like we got a very clear picture of how it is that Donald Trump plans to deal with the 11 million undocumented immigrants believed to be in this country. Do you expect the Trump campaign to try to further explain its position?
I suppose that we will have more explanation because, in part, the explanation kind of helps them. They don't want to look like Donald Trump is completely abandoning his previous position, which was that the 11 million undocumented workers would have to leave the country, and they would have to do it quickly. Remember, he said he could solve this situation in a couple of years. The 11 million are not going to leave quickly on their own, so there's going to have to be some way to get them to leave. Donald Trump has also said that once they leave, they can come back once they stand in line. That raises a different set of questions about who stands in line and for how long, and how long it would take to get back and what kind of a disruption that would cause in people's lives. But the longer this gets debated, the more the Trump campaign sends a signal to those moderate voters, college-educated women, the group of Republicans that he is having trouble with and that he'll need to bring back into his coalition in order to even have a chance at getting then independent voters or swing or moderate voters. I mean, he's got to at least build his own party. And if there is a sign or signal that he is being thoughtful about immigration, that is a pitch to those voters. And to the extent that it comes through in debate about what his real position is, he's happy to be called a flip-flopper if at the same time people are hearing that he might be reconsidering in some fashion because they're trying to get across the message to those voters who worry about his volatility and the fact that he doesn't change. They're trying to get across the message that he might actually be able to change based upon reflection.
You also asked Kellyanne Conway about a tweet from Trump on Saturday. He said, quote, "Dwayne Wade's cousin was just shot and killed walking her baby in Chicago. Just what I have been saying. African Americans will vote Trump." I noticed, John, you never seemed to actually get an answer from Conway on what exactly Trump meant by that particular tweet. But what do you make of that statement?
Well, I think first it's the latest in a pattern of Donald Trump's, which is that he sees public events as validation of his viewpoints. The challenge he gets is that usually people respond to the death and murder with empathy and with some reflection on the lives that have been lost, not immediately, I was right. And Kellyanne Conway obviously understands that, and she pointed us to the second tweet that was sent, a bit of a cleanup effort, and that second tweet expressed condolences to the family and said that everybody was in his thoughts and prayers. That's what people expect of politicians and people running for president. And in those two tweets, you kind of saw the challenge of the new Trump campaign, which is the impulses of the candidate, which are authentic and are unique to him, and then the efforts by those who work with him to try and fit those into the norms of American political life. And so those two tweets are probably give you a good understanding of the challenge that he and his campaign have as they try to build a support beyond his floor of core voters, which won't be enough to get him the election. He's going to need to bring in more voters.
Let's talk about Hillary Clinton. We are at the end of a week now in which we saw new stories about her emails. We saw stories about the Clinton Foundation. Break it down for us, John. What is the significance of all of this? What does it mean?
Well, I think there are sort of three things going on here. You have two different sets of emails. One are the emails that show a cozy, kind of frictionless relationship between staffers at the Clinton Foundation and staffers at the State Department. The Republicans say it shows pay to play. There's no real evidence that an email was sent and an action was taken. There were some meetings that were scheduled, maybe a little faster than would otherwise have happened, or people got preferential placement at State Department events. But what is clearly the case is that it was people who gave big donations to the foundation could get the foundation to help them in access to the State Department. So that's one thing we learn more about. And when you see it in the actual emails, there's just much more detail about it. The other thing is the 15,000 emails that were not turned over by Hillary Clinton when she turned over those from her home server. Now, of course, these two things are linked. People want to know if there was discussions about the Clinton Foundation on her home server. It's impossible to tell because so many emails were deleted from that server. And then finally, each one of these revelations that come up give the Clinton camp an opportunity to either help with their problem, which is that Hillary Clinton is only trusted by 30% of the public, or to behave in a way that exacerbates that problem. And so each time it's a new test. And it shows voters in real time, gives them a little window of the way the Clinton administration might react to other kinds of questions about their trustworthiness and honesty. And so voters can take a real-time judgment of the campaign and determine whether they think they'd be trustworthy if she became president.
And all these developments coming at a time when it's been more than 260 days since Hillary Clinton held a news conference. John Dickerson in Washington for us. John, thank you.
Thanks, Elaine.